allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I'd like to thank everyone for their attendance, and the minutes can reflect the attendance of the various trustees and staff. Let's move forward. Item 3, entertain a motion for the approval of the 12/2 village board meeting minutes and to file the 7/3/2019 CDA authority, CDA 11/4 Finance Committee, the 11/11 Board of Public Works, 11/14 Architectural Review Board meeting minutes as presented.
President Brookwell, I've got a correction to the Board of Public Works. I have a motion.
Are you entertaining a motion?
I'm entertaining a motion to...
Motion, need a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Now, comments, questions on the minutes? I think you said you had one.
It's minor. Board of Public Works meeting Monday, December 10th. I think that should be Tuesday.
Yeah, you're looking at the current minutes.
The Board of Public Works meeting minutes.
Those are the draft ones.
Those are the draft ones. Those are just for you to review. What we're looking at is the first set of minutes.
Oh, it doesn't even say draft.
So everything that's in the front is going to be those are the ones that we're acting on.
Yeah.
So those are the ones
It
that
says draft.
So, I mean, the ones that are in back are the ones that are not on the agenda for approval. Those are just for your review. So, with the ones that I mentioned, any comments, questions on those? Okay, motion second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes. Anybody in the audience wishing to be heard on a non-agenda item? Okay. Come on forward, and we like to provide 3 minutes of time for you to present anything you wish to the board.
Sure.
Just get your name and address, please.
My name is George Scannell. I live at 453 Lilac Court. I just wanted to bring to the attention of the full village board a request that three residents on Lilac Court had brought to the Public Works Department regarding a relief of the requirement to maintain snow shoveling throughout winter on the sidewalk along Coit Road, which is behind our properties, just due to inaccessibility to get at that area. So we discussed it at the Public Works Committee, our hearing last week, and they're aware of some of the things, and it was kind of just left at they would help us find a contractor to maintain.
Those draft minutes were in the packet. I'm pretty sure everybody here has read them. They looked like they were pretty detailed, and I do believe when I talked to Trustee Krieger, and he said yes, there will be further discussion at Public Works moving forward.
We weren't really sure how it was, if it was just left at that or not.
I do believe it will be on the agenda next month, or?
That would be our plan, to have it on our next committee agenda item for an update and or for proposals, if we're able to obtain those. But that's our intent.
Okay, and you'll let us know if you be there or not?
We can, we certainly can.
Okay, thank you much. Anybody else wishing to be heard on a non-agenda item? All right, let's move forward. Items presented by the president. Entertain a motion for approval. No, actually, it's just notice. No. Aquatic invasive species. Oh, there you are. Thank you. Appreciate it. Good catch.
So thank you for giving us the opportunity to talk. I just want to briefly introduce ourselves, and then we'll go into sort of describing our project and then answer any questions
Okay,
you
so
have.
this is really 3 minutes.
3 minutes, okay. So my name is Melissa. I work with a consulting firm that is supporting glacial land resource conservation and development, who has grant funding to control aquatic invasive species in all of the county, and there is some in your village that we would like your assistance with. So Sam right here can maybe tell you a little bit about Phragmites, which is our target species.
Yes, so Phragmites is an extremely prolific and aggressive species that's moving its way through the eastern part of Wisconsin especially. So the western part has a lot of native but not invasive Phragmites. And we do want to stop the spread of that. It has a very shallow root system, and it really is aggressive. It can seed through rhizomes, so through the root systems can just pop up new ones, and then also through the seed heads, through dispersal. And it is a really big problem. It's being spread a lot. It got spread a lot in the Highland reconstruction. So we have Phragmites all the way from Racine all the way up to Green Bay. Is really, really bad. If you've ever been to Green Bay by any of the paper mills, it's just Phragmites all the eye can see. So I'm the AIS coordinator for Sheboygan and Manitowoc counties, but for the purpose of this grant funding, this project has Sheboygan and Ozaukee together. So I work on the mapping and the implementation of the control in Sheboygan County. So that is why I'm here today also to help with Ozaukee County as well.
And this is really a county-wide model that we first developed in Manitowoc, extended southward in Sheboygan, and now for the first time this year we're offering it in Sheboygan County and Ozaukee County entirely grant funded. What we need your help with is doing outreach to your residents. We've found working in multiple counties now, if your residents don't know who glacier land is and we send them a letter and say we're going to come here and control your invasive species for free, chances are they're going to think it's dog mail and throw it in the mail. So what we've done with other municipalities is we've asked the municipality to send out a letter on our behalf asking the residents to sign up for this program. Again, entirely grant funded for 3 years, so pending successful and economic use of the money, we will do the first year control for Phragmites in 2020, and then we will follow up for 2 additional years and do follow-up control. So again, a really successful model that we've built for multiple counties now, and we're offering it for the first time here.
All right, thank you. What we can do is, would this be most appropriate, then send it over to Public Works for review?
We can look at it.
Just take a look at it, okay, and then maybe make a recommendation. And staff, however you think of it, it's just a communication effort. We can certainly, we certainly have methods to communicate with the public, so I guess
We already do have the list of landowners and like permission for.
I'll tell you what, why don't you just do me a favor, why don't you leave it with Jesse?
Yep.
And I'll let Jesse, you can go ahead and route it in the most appropriate direction. Okay, all right, thank you. Anybody else wishing to be heard on a non-agenda item, or one that I missed? All right, let's move on forward. In your packets, you have 2 applications. Appointed Amy Luff and Lou Hero as resident members of the CBA. Those are done by appointment. Jesse, do you need anything official on that?
We will next ask for a motion.
Okay, entertain a motion for approval of those 2 appointments.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Any comments? Very, 2 very fine people, interested in the community and do a lot of public work now. Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Move on to item 6, resolutions, ordinance, action items. Item A is a motion to approve the appointment of election inspectors of the 2021 team, and those are listed in your packet.
Make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Item B is a resolution commending Pat Clemens on his years of service. Unfortunately, Pat couldn't be here, but he has done exceptional work for a long, long time. Amber, anything you wish to say on this particular topic?
No, he provided great service to the Department of Public Works for 20 years, and we will be giving him his resolution here in a couple days.
Okay, all right. So that is a resolution. That takes an offer motion in a second.
I'll offer. Motion?
Second.
Offer motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That resolution passes. Item C is a resolution approving outdoor recreation aids for the Village of Grafton Parks. That is again a form of the resolution. John, you wish to speak briefly on that topic?
This is the last piece of the puzzle for the comprehensive outdoor recreation plan, and this will go in the plan, send it to the DNR, makes us eligible for the next 5 years for grants.
Okay. And that is also a resolution.
I have a question or
Okay,
comment.
can we put it on the table first, and then we certainly will open it up.
I'll offer. Motion.
Second.
Offer motion second. Comments, questions?
Okay, so the resolution is approving recreation aids. Is this not an application? I mean, it's just a matter of semantics. How do we refer to this?
It's just part of the open space plan right now. They would like to know that the village is interested in pursuing grants with the plan. I think once we do pursue a specific grant, there would be a specific resolution for that project at that time. So it's a general.
This is, you kind of bring up a good point. Does it require a named person, or can it be title?
So what this is in essence putting a signature or an individual's name who can sign for grants on file with the DNR.
Okay, so they're looking for a named person. All right. Final questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That resolution passes. Move on to item D, report of the Finance Committee. We have two items. Item 1 is a motion to recommend the village board enter into a fire inspection services memorandum of understanding with Saukville, conditioned upon the acceptance by the Saukville Village Board be approved, which it has been.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Okay, comments on that? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Item 2 is a motion to recommend the 2019 Community Survey questionnaire be approved. Those questions are included.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion and second. This item was been reviewed in finance. Jesse, highlights any major, couple questions changed?
Just simply to update the question number 13 with the updated tax percentages and calculations there. And then a removal of outdated language referring to a written newsletter.
Okay. Motion and second. Final comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Let's move on to item E, report of the Board of Public Works. Item 1 is a motion to approve contract change order 2 in the amount of $12,305.42. Change order number 3 in the amount of $950, and change order 4 in the amount of $4,865.72 for Donor Inc. be approved. Amber, highlight real quick.
Sure, so this is just some miscellaneous items, some pavement marking, and some miscellaneous fixes to water main, sanitary and storm sewer that came up throughout the project.
Okay, nothing atypical?
Nothing
Happens every
atypical,
year?
no, and I will mention that this still brings in our total, this does close out the project, there's no additional cost, everything's been agreed to by the contractor. It does bring our total cost under budget and under the awarded contract amount, just due to other items being under quantity.
Okay. All right, now I entertain that motion.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion is second, final comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Item 2 is a resolution accepting the sanitary sewer and water main on the Grafton School District properties to be adopted.
I'll offer.
Motion.
Second.
Offer motion second, again, that's on private property, but the, and here is the ability for us to maintain and manage.
Correct, so this is work that was done on all three school properties over the last couple of years. Most of the work is within the right of way. A big portion of it is there's an existing water main that goes kind of diagonally through the high school property that has been there. It was not new construction, but we put together a utility access and maintenance agreement to give the village access to that at any time we would need to.
Okay, comments on that? Offer motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That resolution passes. Item 3 is a motion to award the construction contract for replacement of the 17th Avenue lift station and discharge force main to the low bidder, Advanced Construction of Green Bay, for the total base price of $480,448 to be approved.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Motion second. There was good discussion in the minutes. Thank you, Tim. Any comments or questions on that? All in favor?
I would just
Okay.
make a comment that this project was one that had been previously bid out in May. And only one bid came at that time, and it was rejected. It was well above budget. And this time around, we got 3 bids, and we actually saved a good chunk of money by bidding it a second time.
Okay. That's good work. Final comments, questions? Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Item 7, department and officer reports. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 people representing staff. Besides Jesse, any comments for them? Anything they wish back to the board as far as information?
I have a couple questions. I have a couple questions for Jesse.
Okay.
Just in the recent months' report of bills and the detail that we've been getting from Houseman and Fine, there have been charges for a deposition and an affidavit of a village employee. And I'm just wondering what that is in regard to.
That's regarding the Berkshire apartments, I believe. The Heritage condo.
Okay.
Heritage condo.
Is there,
They had a fire sprinkler leak, and they proposed Chief Captain Karpinski as a witness
okay,
in that, related to that case. It's a litigation that does not involve the Village of Grafton. It's
Okay.
between the condo association and a sprinkler maintenance company, U.S. Sprinkler, U.S. Fire. But the village is involved tangentially as a witness.
okay. And then also wondering about, in the past few months, there has been one trustee who has had a phone call with the village attorney and also a private meeting with the labor attorney.
I can speak to the meeting with the labor attorney. It was not a private meeting. It was requested that I schedule a meeting based upon the trustee attending a public meeting in another community where a village employee spoke and comments were dictated, and wanted to review that, similar to how we reviewed open comments here at our own village board meeting in that same vein. So we reviewed those with the Labor Council, and it was found, determined to be protected speech.
Can you tell me what community that was?
Cedarburg?
Okay. And then the phone call?
I don't know. I can't answer.
Yeah, I mean, I did request, because this was legal stuff. Yeah.
So now we do have a new trustee. Kind of our unwritten policy is that please do not direct questions to our legal, either direct them through Jesse or myself. And we'll follow up, get the answers that you need. I think that's kind of a way for us to kind of manage those legal fees that we incur on an annual basis. So again, please funnel any legal questions either through myself or through Jesse.
Right, the reason I brought it up tonight is that I had not gotten an answer.
Right. So it was the
Yeah. No, it's-
questions. Okay.
Okay.
Anything else for staff or anything else to share? All right, let's move on to item 8, licenses. Entertain a motion for approval of operator's license. We have one person in the place of employment.
Make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Report of bills. Entertain a motion for approval of village expenditures, $388,501.03.
I'll make a motion to approve. I'll second that.
Motion and a second, again, for the benefit of the new trustee. Paul Stunar is Director of Finance. He's the best person to answer questions, so feel free, if you have questions on the bills, to shoot him an email. It's a lot easier for him to answer directly. So, questions on the bills?
I have a few. Jesse, on page 4, under Officer Good Girl, Police Operations, do you think there's a way that we can try to either have a double line here to explain what the actual items are, rather than just uniform reimbursement, headlamp, because that would seem like a lot for $450.
What we can do, I can speak with finance about providing a, maybe like an addendum or an additional detail. Unfortunately, our reporting software only allows so many characters within description.
Okay.
So what I can do is speak with finance and report back to the board a more complete breakout of that uniform.
Okay. Okay, and another question on page 8, in the middle of the page, Postnet Grafton. It looks like, are we using them for utility billing? Or does that not go through the post office, or?
We've always used Postnet.
We have, okay. Is there a reason we use them and just not the post office?
It's cheaper.
Okay.
Do they stuff the?
They do, they print stuff as any other mail.
Okay. The only other one I'll make a comment on is page 6 about the JT Engineering. So I will not be voting to approve this item just because I haven't gotten any information again about the possible conflict of interest. So just that one item that I will not approve, and that's it.
This is more of a comment than a question. There are still a lot of items here that do not have department.
Yeah, we talked about that. You can comment on that.
Certainly. Well, we are adding departments where applicable. There are, and I spoke to finance about this, why there would still be blank spots, so to speak. Asset and liability accounts do not have specific department assignments. They are fund-driven, and this is directly from our finance department. This would include such things as utility fixed assets, prepaid expenses, utility refunds, etc. So with that, we are trying to create some sort of descriptor to place in there, but there are just simply some items, accounting items, that do not have a specific fund or a department assigned to them.
So, like the JT Engineering, all of those don't have funds or, you know, departments assigned to it. You know, door replacements to reliable door. I mean, there's a lot that should have them in, and that was a directive that you got last time that we wanted to see it. So it's.
And we are working on it.
Well,
there was some misses here, and there are definitely some items that would not have a department descriptor. It is a work in progress.
No, it shouldn't be a work in progress. It should be corrected for the next time.
All right, so take that up with Paul. Any other questions on the bills? Okay.
On page 11 of batch 1, this is a payment to utility service company. And we had sent out a letter to terminate those agreements, but we're still making a payment here. Is this for services rendered, or is it towards a future period of service that kind of slipped through?
So we gave notice, and that is a 90-day notice, if I recall correctly.
I believe it was a minimum 90-day notice, and I believe some of the contracts went through April or May, so we are still responsible for paying for those contracts through those dates.
All right. And then I had one other question. Page 2 of batch 2. It's the payment to UniFirst Corporation, and it's for uniform allowance. Are we still in it? Do we still have a uniform service for the utility?
Yes, we do, and it is UniFirst.
Okay, but a couple of months ago, we were reimbursing an employee for uniform.
Right.
So how does that work?
The wastewater treatment plant staff and the facility operations coordinator, field operations coordinator, and myself, we take advantage of the uniform service. In light of the uniform service, our employees were given the option of purchasing their own, according to village guidelines and policy that we recently updated. So we have about a 50-50 mix of uniform versus employees purchasing their own work clothing that they get reimbursed a certain amount for.
Okay, and then this is more of a detailed question, and maybe I can talk to you later about those employees that are purchasing their uniforms. How are they being cleaned? Are they doing them at home? And doesn't that represent a problem for us?
No, they're not. We've, for several years now, we've had a wash machine down at work.
Okay.
So they've been utilizing that and, they hang it all over the place to dry, but no, those clothes stay down there and they get washed out.
All right.
A very, kind of dovetailing off of Superintendent Henning's comments is that a very general rule of thumb, the plant operators utilize the service just because of the chemicals and the materials they're working around, whereas the field operators, generally speaking, will utilize the alternate uniform ones. So, but again, they do quite a bit of laundry at their own facility as well as utilizing the service.
And just to add further to that, our field operations staff, because they are out on the street majority of their day, they have, high-vis safety apparel that they wear, whereas the guys in the plant essentially don't leave the plant, so they don't need it. So it's two different apparels, I guess is the word I'll use, for a very specific purpose, so.
All right, final questions? All right, that being said, motion second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
Show 2 nay. Okay. The motion passes. Move on to item 10, entertain a motion to convene a closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 19.851E for real estate and competitive bargaining matters, Park Gas Station 1020 Washington Avenue.
Make the motion.
Second. Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
We're in closed session. How long do we estimate closed session to take? 5 minutes, right, Mike? 5 minutes, okay.